Peterson here today. I just want to tell you a little bit about why, how, and what we do. We truly believe in challenging the status quo, and we do that by inspiring continuous improvement through camaraderie and a waterful life. And the continuous improvement is Kaizen. This comes from total quality management. It comes from Black Belt and Six Sigma, and all these business guys know these different terms. I'd like to be the first one to tie it into fishing because it's definitely a part of fishing. It has been since the inception of people going fishing. I mean, there's no way Kaizen hasn't been a part of fishing. We started off with spears and bone hooks, and we used little tree branches and all kind of different things to catch fish, and that's evolved into crazy polymers and fluorocarbons. We've got braided line and reels that jig for you and all this crazy stuff. I believe that the human species, through fishing and farming, has inspired this continuous improvement. We've always done it, and I think the Japanese were the first ones to really get to nail it right on the head with that word Kaizen. So much so that W. Edwards Deming was a mathematician that worked for the State Department. They wanted him to work with the big auto companies after World War II, Ford and Chevy and GM, Chrysler, and all that kind of stuff. They didn't want to hear it. They were fine with the status quo, just reproducing their big, huge vehicles out of the sheet metal, and they didn't care about getting lighter and better engines, and cars would last 40, 50, 60,000 miles. And what happened was he went to work with Japan after the war, and they had this continuous improvement through their military ways. And he knew that the culture believed in quality over quantity, and he knew it would be perfect for him. His idea was basically he was going to apply the best practices to produce the best thing you possibly could, and that the engines and the parts in the cars would last longer. And the American car companies just simply didn't want to hear it. So basically he went over to Japan and helped them with the rebuild process. He started working with companies that are household names now, Honda and Toyota and the likes of that. Well, it didn't really hit the US market that we needed these smaller fuel efficient cars that lasted longer until the gas shortages and oil embargoes and all these things that were happening in the late 70s and early 80s. Honda sent over a vehicle. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it was a 2-cylinder, it might have been a 3-cylinder Honda Civic. And everybody was like, oh, nobody's going to buy these cars. They're just, they got motorcycle engines. It's like a toy clown car. Well, little did they know that the price of gas was going to skyrocket, and these things were going to last forever, and it became economically essential for people to have smaller, lighter cars that have better gas mileage. And guess what? They lasted forever. Well, what we found now is all these companies are starting to kind of get on the bandwagon and produce engines that last longer. And they've been doing it for decades. But because of that, Honda entered the market with these superior engines and vehicles and better gas fuel efficient engines. They have basically made everybody else kind of follow that same path. And the only thing that they really haven't gotten into is full-size trucks, which I wish they would. I would love to buy a Honda full-size truck because it would last probably longer than I'm going to live. Toyota's the only one that's even come close to that, but they're still working out the kinks. I'm still driving my Chevy till this day. It's not going away. There's nothing like an American full-size heavy Chevy. I really appreciate my sponsors, Brownells, Coastal Clothing, and Journeys to St. George Island. If you believe what we believe, that the outdoors is not just a recreational thing, it's a lifestyle, please like, subscribe, and share this channel so we can inspire just that. Thanks, and have a great day.